Well, hello, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Rick. Thank you for that kind introduction. Thank you for stepping up again to serve America. Would you give another round of applause to the next congressman from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Rick Saccone. It is great to be back in the Keystone State. Before I get started, allow me to bring greetings from the man Pennsylvania voted to make the 45th President of the United States of America. I bring greetings from a man who loves Pennsylvania, President Donald Trump. The President and I really love this state. I mean, thanks to all of you, on a November night in 2016, this president turned the blue wall red. And how about that speech on Tuesday night? You know, I had a pretty good seat. I got to tell you, it was an inspiring night. It's inspiring to hear our president say, the state of our union is strong because our people are strong. Men and women, he laid out a vision to make our nation stronger still. That's what today is all about. And that's what American leadership looks like. Now, I'm here because I stand with President Trump. I'm here because we stand with Rick Saccone and Pennsylvania conservatives, and come to think of it, we always stand for our flag and our national anthem as well. But I came to Pennsylvania today with a pretty simple message from me and from that president that you helped elect. We need the Keystone State to send Rick Saccone to the Congress of the United States. Rick represents the best of Pennsylvania and the best of America. As President Trump said not long ago, Rick is a great guy. Rick Saccone spent 10 years serving our country in the uniform of the United States. And you heard his family continues to serve. He was protecting our freedom, our very way of life. In fact, when America went to war in Iraq, Rick stepped up to serve a second time, because that's what patriots do. The past 8 years, Rick has served the people of Pennsylvania in the General Assembly. He's fought tirelessly to protect our veterans, eliminate wasteful spending. And Rick Saccone is known across the Commonwealth for his commitment to taxpayers here in Pennsylvania. Folks, that's the kind of principled leader President Trump needs on our team in Washington, D.C. And as the President said, Rick Saccone has our total support. And when the Keystone State sends Rick to the Congress on March 13th, he's going to join some great conservative Republican leaders, several of whom are here with us today. Congressman Keith Rothfuss from the great state of Pennsylvania. Congressman Mike Kelly, a great champion for Pennsylvania. And GT Congressman Glenn Thompson. And somebody Pennsylvania is going to keep hearing a lot more about, Congressman Lou Barletta, a great champion. You know, I could tell you firsthand, these members of Congress have been great partners for our administration. And it really is remarkable to think about everything that we've accomplished with their support on Capitol Hill. Working together with these leaders, this president's been keeping the promises he's made all across the board. Together with these great congressmen, President Trump's been keeping our promise first and foremost to make the strongest military in the history of the world even stronger. Early last year, we passed the largest increase in military spending in nearly 10 years. And right before Christmas, this Congress sent to the President legislation to set the stage for one of the biggest investments in our national defense since the days of Ronald Reagan. And I promise you, with Rick Saccone in Congress, we're going to rebuild our military. We're going to restore the arsenal of democracy, and we are once again going to give our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guard the resources and training they need to accomplish their mission and come home safe. And with that renewed American strength, the courage of our armed forces, and the leadership of this Commander-in-Chief, we've made incredible progress. As I stand before you today, ISIS is on the run. Their capital has fallen, their caliphate is crumbling, and we will not rest or relent until we hunt down and destroy ISIS completely at its source. And this president's also been taking care of Americans who've worn the uniform of the United States. We've been restoring accountability at the VA. We've given our nation's veterans access to the world-class health care they earned in the service of the United States of America. And we're not going to stop until every veteran in America has access to the best care in America. Well, you know, Rick Saccone is a veteran, and I can see out looking across this crowd, there's a lot of men and women who've worn the uniform of the United States. If you're able to stand or just raise your hand, if you've worn the uniform of this country, just give us a chance to say thank you one more time. Get your hand in the air, will you? Thank you for your service. You know, when it comes to security here at the homeland, this president's been standing without apology with the brave men and women on the thin blue line of law enforcement at every level, and we always will. Working with law enforcement, we've been securing our borders, enforcing our laws, taking dangerous gang members and drug dealers and violent criminals off our streets in record numbers. And under this administration, illegal crossings at our southern border are down by 50% since the outset of this administration. And this White House has been defending the God-given liberties enshrined in the Constitution of the United States, like the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms and the unalienable right to life. We've been appointing strong conservatives to our federal courts at every level, like the newest justice to the Supreme Court of the United States, Justice Neil Gorsuch. So we've been making great progress on security, but it's also about prosperity and renewing the American dream. And when it comes to that, this administration's been busy. This president's actually been rolling back the heavy hand of government. President Trump has actually signed more laws repealing federal red tape than any president in American history. We've been unleashing American energy. We approved the Keystone and Dakota pipelines. We're repealing the so-called Clean Power Plan. And today I can report to the good people of Western Pennsylvania, it's official. The war on coal is over. With the strong support of these leaders in Congress, the tireless efforts of President Trump, just over a month ago, this administration did what some in the political class said couldn't be done. This president, right before Christmas, signed the largest tax cuts and tax reform in American history. Promises made, promises kept. You know, thanks to the president's leadership and these great partners in Congress, we cut taxes across the board for working families, putting an extra $11 billion in the pockets of Pennsylvania families, or about $2,900 in extra money in every year for the typical family of four. We cut taxes on job creators, large and small. And American companies have already responded with renewed investment, new jobs, and increased wages for working Americans. It's happening. In fact, I don't know if you heard about this yet, but just this morning, the latest jobs report showed that this past year, paychecks across America rose at the fastest rate in 8 years. And more than 3 million Americans have already gotten a tax cut bonus in just the past month, including more than 150,000 workers right here in the Keystone State. And there's one more thing. Not only did we cut taxes, but we gave the American people the relief they need from the disaster of Obamacare when we repealed the individual mandate. Folks, with strong partners in the Congress, we've been bringing the American dream back to life. And you can see the results all across the country. Businesses large and small have created more than 2.5 million new jobs since Election Day. Unemployment hasn't been this low in 17 years, and more Americans are working today than ever before in our nation's history. The stock market has created more than $8 trillion in new wealth, benefiting retirement, savings, and the pension accounts of millions of Americans. And after 8 years of stagnation, growth is back, confidence is back, and thanks to President Donald Trump, America is back. But I'm here today because we're just getting started. You know, as the President said yesterday, this is just the beginning. And that's why we need Rick Saccone in Congress to keep America moving forward. With Rick Saccone in Congress, we're going to end the era of budget cuts to our armed forces and make America stronger and safer than ever before. With Rick Saccone in Congress, we're going to pass a historic infrastructure bill, and we're going to rebuild America. And with Rick Saccone in Congress, we're going to fix a broken immigration system. And with Rick Saccone in Congress, we're going to build a wall. Rick Saccone in Congress, we're going to continue to keep our promises to the good people of Western Pennsylvania. And we'll never stop fighting to put America first. Now, I'm not going to tell you much about Rick's opponent today, because Rick's opponent won't tell Pennsylvania much about himself or what he believes. And Connor Lamb won't tell Pennsylvania voters his position on Obamacare. I heard he won't say whether he supports your Second Amendment rights. I heard Connor Lamb won't say whether he supports giving your hard-earned tax dollars to abortion providers like Planned Parenthood. In fact, it seems like the only thing Connor Lamb will say is that he didn't support cutting taxes for hardworking Pennsylvanians. And folks, that says everything you need to know on March 13th. Seriously. I just heard about this. When Rick's opponent was asked about supporting the largest tax cut and tax reform in American history, that's putting more money in the pockets of Pennsylvania working families and businesses, he said, and I quote, "I don't see how it addresses any of the real problems that we have in this district." I guess Connor Lamb agrees with Nancy Pelosi. I mean, did you all hear Nancy Pelosi called tax cut bonuses that 3 million Americans have already received nothing more than crumbs? Well, if you're going to say an extra $1,000 in the pocket of a working family is crumbs, you live in a different world than I do. I mean, back when our kids were little, my wife and I had a name for an extra $1,000 at the end of the year. Christmas. Right? Maybe a little something extra for Mrs. Pence under the tree. Maybe a new refrigerator, maybe a down payment on that car we've been talking about. Well, let me tell you, any leader in America who would say that the $1,000 in the pockets of working families is crumbs is out of touch with the American people. But truth is, Connor Lamb's just going to be another rubber stamp for liberal Democrats in Washington, D.C. The same people who just last month shut down the government chose dysfunction over doing their job. And that's why Pennsylvania, President Trump, and I need Rick Saccone in the Congress of the United States. But today, I'm asking every Pennsylvania patriot, do all you can to elect Rick Saccone as your next congressman. Election day is in just over a month, on March 13th. There are a few things President and I need you to do. Number one, vote. All right? On March 13th, we need every single one of you to show up. We need you to cast your ballot for Rick Saccone. If you haven't registered to vote, I checked into it. You have another 10 days left. The registration deadline is February 12th. Number two, after you make a priority to vote, remember, friends don't let friends vote alone. Bring a friend. Go find a friend. Go find a family member. Maybe a couple dozen of them. Take them to the polls with you on March 13th and tell them President Trump and I need you to vote for Rick Saccone. And number three, every day between now and March 13th, I want you to get the word out. You know, I believe with all of my heart that all the media in the world, all the advertising, all the commercial, all the mail pieces that might fill up your mailbox are not to be compared to the power and the impact that you can have with someone who knows you and respects you. A conversation across a backyard fence, a grocery store, outside your place of worship. Nothing is more powerful than friends talking to friends, neighbors talking to neighbors. I want you to go tell your neighbors and friends why this election matters. It matters not just for this district and not just for this great state, but the opportunity that we have in this election to elect someone to Washington, D.C. who's going to stand with President Donald Trump and keep America growing. So go tell your neighbors and friends. And finally, there's one more thing I might encourage you to do, if you're of a mind. In these two divided times, it seems like there's more division amplified these days than any time in my lifetime. I think if you're so inclined, it'd be a good time to bow the head and bend the knee and say a prayer. Now, I'm not talking about this very moment praying about a cause or even a candidate. I rather like what President Abraham Lincoln said in such a moment where he was asked if he thought God was on his side. And he said, I don't concern myself as much with whether God is on our side as whether we're on God's side. So I just encourage you. as you go into this election, pray for America. Pray for your neighbors and friends. And pray for this nation, this last best hope of earth, this beacon of freedom in the world. And when you pray, pray with confidence. Because I'm somebody who believes what it said in the old book, inscribed thousands of years ago, that if his people who are called by his name will humble themselves and pray, he'll do like he's always done. He'll hear from heaven, and he'll heal this land. Amen. This one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So folks, time's a-wasting. We got an election to run between now and March 13th. So I'm going to get out of your way and let you get back to it. But I got to tell you, I come to a moment like this and I'm confident. I see the enthusiasm in this crowd. I see the support that Rick Saccone is getting all across, not just this district, but this state and this nation. And I'm absolutely confident that with your unwavering support, we're going to send Rick Saccone to Congress. And with Rick Saccone in the House of Representatives and President Donald Trump in the White House, and with God's help, I just know we will make America safe again. We will make America prosperous again. And to borrow a phrase, we will make America great again. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless Pennsylvania, and God bless the United States of America.